day, Hudson Valley. I'm your host, Lisa Kaslyn, and welcome back to our show where we bring you the best of what's happening and who is happening in Putnam, Northern Westchester, and Southern Dutchess. Today we're going to talk about women in business, which is a favorite topic of mine, and networking, which is not everybody's favorite topic, but the women that we have here today are going to share their stories and their experiences of how it works and how you can increase your sphere of influence and grow your businesses in ways that you may not have ever thought of before. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my panel of guests. First, we have Jamie Imperati, who is the president of Professional Women of Putnam and Professional Women of Westchester. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you, Lisa.
We have Donna Doria, who is a mortgage lender with Everbank. And we have Pam Blecker, who's in real estate sales for Keller Williams. And we have Pina, Lita, who is a real estate attorney locally here in Putnam. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
I'd like to kick it off with some questions for Jamie, because Jamie is the head networker, because she's the president of two networking organizations. So I want you to tell us a little bit about what Professional Women of Westchester and Putnam do and how you help women in business.
Thanks. Thank you for having us on the show. Professional Women of Putnam and Professional Women of Westchester are local networking organizations for enterprising women. We're going to be coming up on our 5-year anniversary in the spring for Putnam. And we are a membership-based organization. We host monthly networking events at various restaurants around the counties. And we have guest speakers at each of our events. And one of the things that I like to pride the organization on is bringing education and different ways to learn and grow your business to the members that attend. So I feel that regardless if someone's been in business for 5 months or 20 years, there's always new things to learn. And we like to bring, the guest speakers in on marketing, business development, different topics that'll help you grow your business and make more money. Another thing that makes the organization special is that we like to tie our events into helping the community and have our events benefit various local not-for-profits. One of the events that we recently did this summer was held to benefit Putnam CAP, which is the Putnam Community Action Program, and we helped them with their school supply drive. So every woman that attended our event was asked to bring in a donation of school supplies, and we collected a ton of items that they needed that will help the children locally in Putnam County. Some of the events that we have scheduled for this year to help local not-for-profits are our October events, which are to create awareness for breast cancer. We're going to be having an event to benefit Support Connection, and we're going to be having an event to benefit Gilda's Club in Westchester.
That's great.
So those dates will be announced on our website shortly, which you could check out. And also our holiday parties will benefit local not-for-profits. We'll be doing it for the Putnam Northern Westchester Women's Resource Center and for Hope's Door in Westchester.
Wow, that's a lot of stuff. I'm surprised you have time to actually network with all that's going on. So you just mentioned that your 5th anniversary is coming up.
Yes.
That's a big accomplishment because a lot of networking groups come and go. You really do have staying power. What do you think is your secret sauce? How do you keep people coming back?
Well, I'll tell you a few things that I think help contribute to the secret sauce of the organization. The first thing is the speakers that we do have that attend. I always thank everyone for attending the events because to me, it's a big deal to have someone take 2 to 3 hours out of their schedule to come and be a part of my organization. So for them to do that, they're coming because they're learning, they're networking, and they're around quality women. And women like to network with like-minded women. And I always say our members are the nicest women. They look to help each other. If Pina sees a woman standing in a corner, she'll go and bring her over to the group and, introduce her and see how she can better, help her to better network. Because a lot of people feel shy or feel like wallflowers or aren't comfortable doing the networking thing, as you said. So we try to get everybody involved and, having members go out and tell their friends and share the word in the community or share, pictures and their experiences via social media with their friends, checking in at places, telling them, that they're at this great networking event. Those kind of referrals are the best way, for me to get the word out about the group.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that's how these three women sitting here in between us got here today.
Yeah, I'm dying to hear that. So the proof is always in the pudding,
Absolutely.
right? So, networking is fun. It's great. You make contacts. But what we really want to do is to grow our business. So when we talked before the show, you guys used the term power team, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So can you guys just tell me how you came together and how the networking at Jamie's group really helped kind of seal the deal for you, and how you're regularly bringing business to one another? Do you want to start, Donna?
Well, I know Pam and I were at one of Jamie's first meetings, and we instantly connected. And it was very nice because Pam was a realtor and I was a mortgage banker, and we instantly connected and we became fast allies. Yeah. And it's really nice that I could go to her and pick her brains on who she was using and where that led. And we've been working together for 5 years. We were one of the first people that we've been with Jamie for 5 years.
Yeah. Wow.
So we love her events, and they really do. You feel good when you leave one of the events because you know that you've done something for the community, and you've met a lot of really wonderful women. And you always go to those women that are in there if you need someone, if you need an attorney, or you need, a physical therapist. You're going to go to those people first. Those are the people you're going to think of. But yeah, we've become sort of a power team. We use each other and we rely on each other.
That's great. So what's your experience been, Pam?
Yeah, I went to one of Jamie's first ones when I was fairly new, and she made the environment was very welcoming, very comfortable. I have to say, really, you don't feel like you're in competition. You're there as a woman, and as much as you're talking about your profession, you're learning about the other professions and how you can help them. Mm-hmm. Donna was a terrific, really ally to meet because we can really refer back and forth to each other. Mm-hmm. If I get a client looking for a new home, they need to be pre-qualified first. Mm-hmm. I'm going to naturally go to Donna. Many times they do it the other way. They go to Donna first, asking, how much home can I buy? This is how much you can. Please go see Pam. Mm-hmm. So the next step in this scenario of real estate is a real estate attorney. Mm. So that is, what we do. And I met Pina. I met Pina through somebody else at the Professional Women of Putnam. So the three of us work literally at a closing table together. Wow. When we finally go from getting the client to the closing table, the three of us are sitting there.
And what a great experience it is for the end user or the client, because all of you are in sync and you have sort of your process down and you know one another. So that has to be a good experience for your clients as well.
Absolutely. Like Pam said, I met Pam initially through a mutual friend, and Pam introduced me to PWP. And through PWP, the three of us, as well as Jamie, we've cultivated our relationship, our business relationship. And so when I receive a referral from either Pam or Donna, I'm confident in knowing that the transaction will go smoothly because we trust each other, we know each other's work, and we know that it will be a successful transaction just because we've trusted each other and we're comfortable with each other through PWP.
That's great. I love that. So let's, kind of brainstorm a little bit and talk about some of the issues associated with networking. I did a little bit of research, and Dr. Ivan Meisner, who you probably have heard that name, the king of all networking, he's the founder of BNI. I know BNI's philosophy is different. It's effective for a lot of people, but I know one of the cornerstones of their philosophy is one professional, right, per industry. And I know that Jamie, having experienced her meetings, is quite the opposite. And I think that sometimes actually having peers who are in the same profession ends up being a benefit. You want to talk to that, Jamie?
Yeah, absolutely. Two things come to mind. Not everyone attends all events.
Right.
So if you're a realtor and you're coming to the event that we're going to be having in September, doesn't necessarily mean that, 4 other realtors are going to be there. Pam might be the only realtor in the room. And then Pam had brought up a good point the other day when we spoke. If you're meeting another realtor, she might be the person on the other side of the closing table that you're sealing the deal with.
Exactly.
So it's good to know who you're doing business with.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So what do you think, they say, popular wisdom, Ivan says 6.5 hours per week is what makes a successful entrepreneur successful in terms of networking. It seems like a really large number. What do you think? How often do you guys
It's not
network?
enough.
It's not enough?
No.
Wow, okay.
Well, initially it
We're going to
sounds like...
scare all those entrepreneurs off.
Initially it sounds like, oh my God, 6.5 hours. You're not going to go to, events every week and spend that amount of time. Personally, I think every other week is a good, amount of event. Going to two events a month is what I personally would recommend. But you're networking everywhere you go. In the supermarket, I network at my kids' baseball games, football games. Pam just told us a great story before about how she was networking at the gas station.
Not intentionally.
Not intentionally, but want to share that story with
I
us?
wear my name tag typically, and people see it all the time at the supermarket, at the gas station, and they'll say, "Oh, you sell houses? How's the market? I have a house to sell. My mother has a house to sell." So, you're not in a formal networking situation. You're just living life and always thinking of your business, and that's what I think about for networking.
Yeah, and I think, what you said is true. We're always networking. I mean, think about what you're doing online, I mean, Facebook may seem like fun, but you are connecting with people, and sometimes it bridges a gap in communication.
Absolutely.
They may be far away, and that brings you closer. And that's certainly, adds up to more than probably 6.5 hours for a lot of us. When we think in terms of going in cold to a room, the difference between going into a room that's full of just women versus a room that's a mixture, how does that play out? Are there best practices in terms of walking up to somebody that you don't know? What are your best tips? Or how do you sort of break the ice with people? For somebody who might not be used to networking, what would you say to them?
Start with a smile and hello. That's really the best way to start. I mean, especially like with Jamie's events, you walk over, you say, hi, nice to meet you. And especially if you're a seasoned PWP member, you feel a little more comfortable with that. If you see someone that you don't recognize, just welcome them. And
So you should not immediately hand them your
No,
business
no,
card
no,
and
no.
start
No.
talking about yourself.
no,
No.
no.
A lot of times their name tags are a big
True.
Yeah, we
tip
always
off.
wear name tags at our
Because
events.
even though it says your name and either the company, sometimes you don't. The company isn't self-explanatory. You don't know what that is. So then that's your next lead-in is and what is, and we start talking that way.
So do you have, are there a list of questions that sort of help you keep the conversation going? So if you meet somebody that you want to do business with, but you don't know them and you really want to talk to them, how do you keep it going? Maybe they're not talkative.
I keep it on a personal level. Ask them about how they got into their business. Ask them to talk, basically. Be patient with them. If they're new to the group, they might be a little nervous in a large gathering. But I try, because I was like that initially, just to keep it personal. And then eventually, once the trust is there, it'll naturally flow from there.
That's great.
Yeah,
And
I always find people like to, I'll ask, are there any interesting projects that you're working on? People like to tout their work. So if you ask that question, that will usually keep the conversation going.
Yeah. So does anybody have an opinion on LinkedIn? Does anybody here use it? Have you had any success kind of integrating that with what you do for prospecting?
I don't actively. I am on LinkedIn. I don't actively do a lot of social media, which I know I probably should. However, through Jamie's group, I met somebody, and then through LinkedIn, they refound me and said, how could I have forgotten you as a real estate agent? I met you at PWP. I know your face. I know you. But when she was looking for a professional online, she saw me on LinkedIn. But because she had known me already from PWP, she remembered me. So I have a listing because of that, yes.
Oh,
So,
that's
yeah.
great. So I think, Jamie, you and I were talking, and a very simple best practice for somebody who's thinking about starting a business or is maybe new, when they go to a networking event and they do collect their business cards and they did have some good experiences with people, maybe one of the things that they should do is to go on LinkedIn and immediately try to connect with that person, right?
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. That should be their first step. And then the second step I would do is go on Facebook and see if that person has a business page. And if they do, I would go ahead and like that person's business page,
Right.
because they'll get notified that you liked
Like
it.
them,
Yeah.
exactly. And they're more inclined
Exactly.
to like you back and
Absolutely.
remember you when you do actually make the call, ask them out
Exactly.
to lunch, right?
Right.
So do you think that face-to-face will ever be supplanted by virtual
Nope.
connections?
No.
No?
It can't be. We want to do business with someone that we feel has the human, you want that human touch. You want the human factor. Nobody wants to deal with robots.
But isn't it hard to get people to carve out time now to do a lunch or a coffee?
Absolutely.
I feel like there's just less time, right?
It's true, but if you keep working at it, you keep connecting, I think eventually, you could put aside some time to get together and grab a bite to eat or
And
have
I think that's
coffee.
why Jamie's Forum is really works, because we know in advance when it is, we can plan,
schedule it.
we can invite people, and you know that's what you're doing. It's not a spur of the moment type of thing. We can plan in advance, we know the topic, we know who we'll see, and
Exactly.
we know we'll meet new people. So
Actually,
it's-
that's a great tool too. So instead of maybe inviting a prospect out for coffee, you can invite the prospect who might want business as well
Exactly.
to a
Right.
meeting.
And what actually happens quite often is, our events start at 6 o'clock. I'll get there at 5 to set up. I have people showing up at 5:15, 5:30 to meet somebody before the event and, have their little,
little
have
drink
a
or-
drink, have their little meeting, and they're killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
I recently did that. I invited a friend of mine who's in a related business, and she brought another friend. So it kind of works that way. It's a domino effect. So there was 2 new people at PWP.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's great. I want to read a quote to you guys from George Ross, who is or was, I think he may still be, Donald Trump's vice president and senior counsel. To be successful, you have to be able to relate to people. They have to be satisfied with your personality to be able to do business with you and to build a relationship with mutual trust. So what's your best advice for building rapport and trust with your prospects and clients?
Well, people want to do business with people they like. That's just the way it is. And people don't want to do business with people they're butting heads with all the time. So the first thing you have to do is listen. You got to listen to what your clients want. So the best way to get business is to keep your mouth shut. Just listen and hear what your client's saying, and then guide them to what you think that would be best for them. And if they disagree, then sometimes you just have to go with what they want.
Yeah. So I've heard the term mirroring. Has anybody ever heard that term? Where you sort of emulate the actions and the tones of the other person. That's
Without
sort of
being
like a
insulting,
good,
though, you got to be
Exactly.
careful.
Right.
yeah, not mocking, mirroring.
Right.
Yeah. So I have another question, and this involves men. If there was one thing that, in a business context, you wish you could do more like a man, what would it be?
I personally,
Go nothing.
my initial reaction to this question would be absolutely nothing. But if I have to give you an answer, and this is something that I've experienced personally, women don't promote themselves enough, or they don't tout, they don't share their accolades with you.
Yeah.
For
I
me
agree.
personally, I've won awards. I have a whole list of great information in my LinkedIn profile of awards and, nominations and things that I've received. I don't go around saying that when I meet somebody. I think we need to, allow ourselves to pat ourselves on the back more often than not. So
Not bragging, not boasting,
Exactly.
but telling your story.
exactly,
Right?
confidently
And
telling
work-
your story.
Be more confident.
Yeah.
But I think that's what
I
we
would
do for
say.
each other.
Absolutely,
In that group.
Right.
absolutely.
If we introduce Pina, we'll say, oh, did you know Pina did this? Or
Exactly.
Jamie did that. So I think
Exactly.
women do that. Maybe men do it, but I know women do it. So
So, I mean, it's great if you're networking in an all-woman environment, but we do have to do business with the opposite sex. So I think it's wise advice, as you say, to sort of practice the art of, self-confidence and talking about your positive successes in a way that's just part of the conversation. It's sharing what you do for a living and how you're good at it, right? So on the other hand, if there was one thing you wish men could do more like a woman, what would that be?
I think Donna mentioned it before, is listen. I think men go into a situation They just run in like a bull in a china shop. And I think they have to just step back a moment and maybe listen to the person across from them and find out what their needs are and how they can best fulfill them, and if they'll be a right fit business-wise.
And, you know, just to give the men out there, right, advice, they should heed this, because that's the way we want to be sold to, right? We want you to understand our pain points and have a discussion and listen to us, not just try to solve the problem before we tell you what the problem is.
Don't try to sell to us immediately.
Sell to us immediately, exactly. Any other comments about what men could do better or like women in business?
I work with a lot of men. You know, I allow men, not allow, but we invite men to come twice a year to our events, and those events sell out. I mean, especially in Westchester, I can have 160, 200 people at an event where we're inviting men. You know, they want to come, they want to network with the women, they want to know, you know, what's going on with this group, you know?
They think it's a secret society.
They do. It's funny. No, it's all about board, guys.
Because they realize that there's something very serious going on here. There's something very powerful
Absolutely.
going on with this organization, and it's very successful. And they're trying to figure out what Jamie's secret sauce is.
Yeah. And I actually have quite a few men who are members, but you know, they own companies, the company is a member, and they send the women from the organization to come and network with us. So men are, you know, a part of our group.
So that they are trying to listen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's good.
Absolutely.
That's positive. So does anybody have any events that are coming up that you want to share or invite our viewers to?
I would love to. Our next event is September 23rd. We'll be at Arturo's in Mayapack, and Lisa is actually our guest speaker. We're going to be doing content marketing. Yep. So details about that event are on our website, professionalwomenofputnam.com. And September 8th, we're doing an event in Westchester at Ruth Chris Steakhouse. And the guest speaker is Julie Cottonell. She's the CEO of Brand Twist.
Oh, cool.
And details for that are on professionalwomenofwestchester.com. And like I said, our fall events to benefit the local not-for-profits are going to be October 16th, I believe, and November 19th.
And all of this
And
is
all
on the
of
website.
that information is on the website.
And
we're
they
on
should Facebook?
And go ahead and like us on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram. I'm everywhere. So you can, you know, connect with us, and we'll like you back.
Good. Are you guys going to any other networking events that people should know about? Anything real estate related? There's a lot of real estate people out there.
We're networking all the time. There's open houses all the time. I'm trying to think of anything real estate specific. The economic development of Putnam County is having a breakfast in September. So that I will definitely be at.
Yeah, I will be there too.
Former
That
Governor
is-
Pataki is speaking,
yeah.
right?
So
That's and then Monday, September 15th, is the United Way of Westchester and Putnam, the Best Chefs Food and Wine event, and that's at the Putnam Golf Club, and that's always a great event.
Oh, that's
so
fantastic.
I'll be there as well.
Great, great, great. Well, this has been wonderful. Before we close, I just want to remind everybody that this show can only be good or great if we get your input and feedback. So please visit the site at gooddayhudsonvalley.com and send us an email at info@gooddayhudsonvalley.com. And let us know what you think. Let us know what kind of topics you'd like us to cover. Let us know who you'd like to see on the show. If you have an idea, we're open to everything. There's never a silly suggestion. So again, info@gooddayhudsonvalley.com. Thank you again for tuning in. Have a great day, Hudson Valley.
Thanks for the opportunity, Lisa.
That's great. Thank you.